Hello viewers, welcome to the channel. In this video we'll be creating parts of a simple box using PartDesign workbench, and we'll see how to assemble the parts using point-to-point constraint in A2plus workbench, and also how to simulate the assembly and disassembly of the parts using ExplodedAssembly workbench. I hope you like this video, and if you are not subscribed, subscribe. And if you want to support the channel, there's a link in the description of this video to my Ko-fi page. Thank you, and let's start. As you can see, this box here is a set of parts, so the first thing that we'll do is to create a design of these all parts here. So let's go to FreeCAD, and here let's create a new document, and now let's save this document as parts. Okay, to design all of these parts here, we have two options. We can design these all parts in a single document or each part in separated documents. If your parts are complex and many, I don't recommend the first option because it can lower your FreeCAD performance. Instead of using the first option, you can create parts in separate documents if your parts are complex and many. Okay, so now let's create these all parts using the first option. First here we'll switch to the PartDesign workbench, and now we'll create a new body and a new sketch. Okay, first here we'll start by creating this first part here. So let's go to this page. Okay, here we can see these drawings and these dimensions for this first part here. So what you'll do here is to create a new sketch in XY plane. Select XY plane and now zoom out. Okay, and go to sketch geometries, these tools here, and here we need to select this tool here, centered rectangle. Select this tool and draw this rectangle in this way, and next select this constraint distance tool, and now we'll set the size of this rectangle. So here we can see these dimensions here. We'll set this rectangle 100 foot by 8 millimeters. Okay, click in this line here and set 80. Okay, and now escape 2 times to leave the sketch and press home. You will see the sketch here, and now we'll make extrusion of the sketch. So select path tool, and the length for this path operation is 10, as you can see here. So let's click OK, and next let's draw this part here. So what you do, select this face here and create a new sketch. Now select this tool here again, centered rectangle, and now click in this origin point and draw this rectangle. Select constraint distance tool, click in this line and set a length of 120, and for this line here we'll set 60. Okay, and now leave the sketch and path. Okay, the length for this path here, as you can see, will be 2 millimeters, so we'll change here to 2 and enter. So now as you can see we have this first part designed. Okay, and now let's try to make this part here look like this part here. So what we can do is to go to the model tab, select this body here, and then click on mouse and select transform tool. Okay, the first thing that we'll do here is to rotate this model in the x-axis. Okay, in this way, and also we'll rotate this model in z-axis in this way, and okay now. Okay, and the next thing to do now is to rename this body. Select this body and click on mouse and select rename option. Let's rename this body to part 1, enter. Okay, so now we have this first part here, and the next thing to do is to create this second part here, part 2. Okay, so what you do, first let's go to FreeCAD, and what you'll do here is to create a new body. Click on this icon, and as you can see now we have this active body here. Let's rename this body to part 2. Okay, and now to work easily with this part 2 here, we can hide this part 1. select this part here and spacebar to hide this part here. And next, let's create a new sketch. Click on this icon, press home to see these planes here. So okay, for this part here, for this sketch, we'll select YZ plane, select YZ plane, zoom out, and select this tool here, center rectangle. Click on this origin point and draw this rectangle. Now select constraint distance tool. Okay, and now it's time to set the size of this rectangle. So okay, for this rectangle we'll set 120 by 90 millimeters. Click in this line here and set 120. Okay, and now zoom out and click in this line here, let's set 90. Okay, and now leave the sketch, press home and pad operation. Here we'll set the length of 10, as you can see here, set 10 and okay. And the next thing to do now is to create these parts here. Okay, so what we'll do is to select this face here and create a new sketch, this face. And now we'll extract this edge here, select external jump tool, this tool here, and click in this edge. Okay, and now go to sketch geometries and select this tool here, polyline tool, and now draw the sketch. Okay, and now it's time to set size of the sketch here. So what we'll do first here, we'll set these two lines equal, select equal constraint, and now these two lines. Okay, and now select constraint distance tool, click in this line here. For this line here, we'll set a length of 7, set 7 here, and for this line here, we'll set 9. Okay, and now as you can see we have 2 degrees of freedom here, so we'll set the horizontal distance between this point here to this point, select horizontal distance tool, and now these 2 points here and the distance here we'll set 10, this dimension here. Okay, and next we have to set the vertical distance between this point here to this point. As you can see here is 9. So we'll select vertical distance tool and then this point here and this point. And we set 9 here, and now skip 2 times to leave the sketch, and let's select pad tool, set reverse it, and length for this pad operation will be 10. Okay. So what we need to do next is to create this pad here with a length of 1 millimeters. As you can see we have 140 and 142 here, so the length here is 1 millimeters. So what you do here, select this face here and next this pad tool, and we change the length here to 1 and enter. Okay, and the next thing to do to create these all parts here is to use this tool here, move transform tool. But first we need to select this pad operation, and now control and select this pad operation here, and then we can go to this tool, click here in this icon, and now what we will do here is to go to transformations, right click on mouse and select add linear pattern option, and now scroll down, and the first thing that we'll do here is to change the duration to z-axis. Click here and select z-axis, and now reverse duration, and now let's set the length here and the occurrence. So okay, here in the length we'll set this formula. Okay, and the number of occurrence here will change to 5, and okay, and now here right click on mouse and select this option, mirror transformation. Okay, as you can see now we have these all parts, so what you need to do now is to scroll up and click OK. As you can see we have these parts here, and the next thing to do is to create these 3 pockets here, as you can see. So what you do, you select this face and we create a new sketch. Okay, and next we'll draw these 3 rectangles. So what you do, we go to this tool here, we can select this tool, center rectangle, and we draw these 3 rectangles. Okay, and next what we'll do is to set equal constraint for these lines of these rectangles. So okay, let's select these lines here. Let's remove this point here and this line, and now let's select equal constraint. Okay, and now we select this line here, this line, and this line, and let's set equal. And next what we'll do is to set some merge constraints here. So let's start by select this tool here, and now these 2 points and this vertical line here. And now what we do, we select this point here, and this vertical line. Okay, and next let's set the size of these rectangles. Select this tool here, constraint distance tool, click in this line, and we'll set 10 millimeters for this line. Okay, and for this vertical line here, we'll set 5. Okay, and okay, now let's select this tool here, horizontal constraint. Let's make these 2 points horizontal. Okay, and now as you can see, we have 1 degree of freedom here. So the next thing to do is to constrain these all the sketch here and the vertical axis. So okay, here we can see 2.5. So what you need to do here is to extract this edge here. Select external jump tool and extract this edge, and now select vertical distance tool. Select this point here and this point, and set 2.5. Let's delete this and select this tool here, and now these 2 points here, and let's set 10 millimeters. And now let's select this constraint here, this vertical line, and this point here. So okay, let's select this point. Okay, in this way. Okay, and now escape 2 times to leave this sketch, and let's create a pocket. Click in this icon. Now here we'll change the length to 5 millimeters, this dimension here. Okay, let's set 5 here and enter. Okay, now as you can see, we have these pockets here. Okay, and it's all for this part here. And now let's draw this part 3 here. Okay, let's go to the model tab. First here, let's create a new body, and let's rename this body here to part 3. Okay, and now let's hide this part 2 here, spacebar, and let's create a new sketch. Press home to see these planes here. We'll create this sketch here in XY plane. Select XY plane here, zoom out, and select center rectangle tool, and let's draw this rectangle in this center point. Okay, and now it's time to set the size of this rectangle. So let's select constraint distance tool. Okay, here we'll set, for this line here, we'll set this dimension 120. Okay, and for this vertical line here, we'll set this dimension 60. Okay, and next, escape 2 times to leave the sketch, press home, and create extrusion. We'll set a length of 10 here, as you can see. Let's set 10 and OK. And now the next thing to do is to create this part here. So okay, let's create a new sketch in XY plane. Switch to the session view, and now let's select this tool here, external jump tool, and let's extract this edge here. Next, click here and select rectangle tool. Through this rectangle, and now let's set the size of this rectangle. So what we'll do is to select this constraint distance tool, and then click in this horizontal line of this rectangle. Here we'll set a length of, we'll set 10 here, and for this vertical line we'll set 5 millimeters. Okay, and next we'll set the distance between this point here to this point. Let's set 10 millimeters, as you can see here. Let's set 10, and now leave the sketch. And okay, now let's select pad tool, and the length for this pad operation must be 5 millimeters. Set 5 here and enter. But as you can see, we get this in the wrong way. So what we'll do is to change. Okay, let's go to the model tab, double click here. Okay, here we need to set similar to plane, select this option and okay. And now let's go to this pad operation, double click and set similar to plane, and now just click OK. And as you can see, now we have this in the correct way. Okay, and the next thing to do is to create these all parts here. To create these all parts, we'll use this tool here, Move Transform tool. But first we need to select the pad operation, and then we can go to this tool, click in this icon, and now here right click on mouse and select this option, linear pattern. Scroll down here and okay, let's change the duration to x-axis, and let's set a distance here, this length. As you can see here we have 120. So what we'll do is to place this formula. Okay, and the number of occurrence here we'll set 3. And as you can see we have these 3 parts here. Click OK and next. Right click on mouse and select this option, mirror transformation. Press home, and now what you need to do here is to change this plane here to axis plane. Click here and select axis plane and click OK and OK. Okay, and next let's create these 2 parts here. So what we'll do, let's create a new sketch in XY plane. Okay, and now what you do, we switch to the session view and select the external jump tool, and now this extract this edge here and select rectangle tool, and now let's show this rectangle and this rectangle. Okay, and now what we'll do is to select this one in distance tool. For this line here we'll set 5. Okay, as you can see here we'll set 5, and for this line here 10. And now select equal constraint and make these 2 lines here equal and these 2 lines equal. Okay, and the next thing to do is to set this rectangle symmetric to this horizontal line. So we'll select symmetric constraint and then this point here and this point, and now this horizontal line. Okay, and as you can see we have 1 degree of freedom. So the next thing to do is to set the distance between this point here to this point. We can see here is 10 millimeters. So what we'll do, select vertical distance tool and then these 2 points here, and let's have 10 here. And now escape 2 times to leave the sketch and select pad operation. We'll set symmetric to plane here, and the length for this pad operation will be 5 millimeters and enter. And the next thing to do is to mirror these parts here. So let's go to the model tab, and here we need to select this pad operation and then mirror tool. Okay, as you can see now we have the parts here, so click OK. And as you can see it's all for this part here. So now let's save this document and let's create a new body, and let's rename this body to part 4. Okay, and also let's hide this part 3 spacebar. And now let's go to this page here, page 5, and here we can see the drawing for part 4. So okay, now let's create a new sketch. Press home. We create this sketch here in this plane here, axis plane. Select this plane, zoom out first and select, click here and select centered rectangle. Click in this origin point and draw this rectangle, and then select constraint distance tool. Okay, for this rectangle we'll set these dimensions A2 by 90. Okay, let's select this line here and set A2, and this line here will set this dimension 90. Okay, and now leave this sketch press home and click in this tool here. The length here will be 10 millimeters, as you can see here. So let's set 10 and OK. And the next thing to do now is to create these pockets. So what you'll do here is to select this face and create a new sketch. Okay, and now click on this icon here 2 times. Okay, and next select external jump tool and extract this edge here. And now what we'll do in this sketch here is to draw this sketch here. So select polyline tool, click in this vertical line, and in this edge here click again and again in this line here and in this point here. Okay, and now let's set the size of this sketch here. First we'll set these two lines equal, select equal constraint, and then these two lines here, and now constraint distance tool. For this line here we'll set 7, this line here we'll set 9. Okay, and the next thing to do is to set this distance here, this distance, select constraint vertical distance, and now these 2 points here. Okay, let's change here, click 2 times, select this tool here, horizontal distance tool, and then these 2 points here, and let's set 9. Okay, and now we'll leave this sketch here and you create a pocket here, and the length of this pocket here will set 11, this dimension here. Okay, and the next thing to do is to create these all pockets. So what you need to do is to go to the model tab, select the pocket operation, and then go to this tool here, transform tool. Here we'll add this option here, linear pattern. Scroll down and let's change the duration to z-axis and reverse duration, and now we'll change the length here to be to this formula. Okay, and the occurrence here will be 5, and okay, and now we'll mirror this pattern here. So right click on mouse and select this tool, this option, mirror transformation. Scroll down and let's change the plane here to YZ plane, and okay. As you can see, now we have this part here. Okay, and next let's create these 2 pockets here. Let's create these 2 pockets. So what we do, we select this face here and create a new sketch. Okay, here we'll select this tool here, rectangle tool, and we'll draw this rectangle. And next we'll constrain the size of this rectangle. We'll set 10 millimeters by 5 millimeters. Okay, and now select this tool here, this tool, external jump tool, extract this edge here, select this tool, vertical distance tool, and we'll set the distance here to be 2.5. Okay, and next we have this distance here, 10 millimeters. So what you do, let's extract this edge here and then horizontal distance tool, and now these 2 points here, and let's add 10. Okay, and now close this and let's create a pocket. Click here, so set 5 for the length here, 5 millimeters, and okay. And now go to the model tab, select this pocket and mirror tool, and click OK. Okay, and now as you can see we have this part here. Let's save this document, and also as you can see we finished the design of these all parts here. Okay, and now let's make these all parts visible. Select this part here and shift select this part here and spacebar. As you can see here we have these all parts here in the same document. Okay, and we can change the placement of these parts here. So for example, let's select this part 4 here, then click on mouse and select transform tool. Let's move this arrow. Okay, now select part 1, then click on mouse and select transform tool. Okay, and now part 2 and transform. Okay, and as you can see, we have these all 4 parts here. So the next thing to do now is to create the assembly of these parts. Okay, so let's do that. Create a new document, click in this icon, and let's save this document as assembly. Okay, and save. Okay, and now we need to change to A2plus workbench. So click here in workbench selector and go and select A2plus workbench. If you don't have this workbench, A2plus and ExplodedAssembly workbench installed in your FreeCAD, you can install this workbench by tools and add-on manager. Here you will need internet connection. So okay, now what you do first, let's close this document here and let's import these all parts to this document. Okay, to import parts we have two options. We have this option here, add part from external file, or this tool here, add shapes from an external file. We'll use this tool here because we created all parts in a single document. So click here in this tool, this icon, and select parts, double click. Okay, and now let's import part 3 first. Click in this option. We have our first part here. This part here as default is fixed, as you can see here. Okay, and now let's import another part. Click here, double click in parts, and let's select part 1. Okay, and now we have this part here. Click here again and double click. Let's select part 4. Okay, here we have this part here, and next let's select this icon again and double click in parts, and let's select part 2, import. Okay, and now we have these all parts. Okay, and the next thing to do is to create the assembly of these parts. So okay, let's go to this string page here. Okay, exploded assembly. Okay, first here what we'll do is to change the placement of this part here. Select this part here and click on mouse and transform tool. We'll rotate this model 9 degrees in this way, and okay. Okay, and next we can assemble these parts here. So what you'll do first is to assemble this part here to this part. So what you do, zoom in here, select this point here. As you can see, it's very difficult to select this point. So what you'll do is to go to the tree view, select these all parts here, then click on mouse and select appearance. And what we'll do here is to increase the point size. Let's add, for example, 5 here and close. Okay, and now zoom in, and now as you can see, it's too easy to select these points. And now zoom out here and zoom in, and now we select this point here. Okay, as you can see, we have these two constraints here available, but we'll use these constraints here, point to point. Click here in this icon and accept. Okay, let's select this part here and then this icon. Okay, and now what we'll do is to update this part here. Clicking this icon, and yes. Okay, and now we'll make this part here visible. Okay, and now as you can see, we have these two parts in the correct way. So okay, next let's assemble this part here. So what you do, zoom in and select this point here. Now what you do, we go here in this part, zoom in and select this point here, control and select this point, and now this constraint here, point to point, and accept. Press home and let's change to the top view to see if we have problems here, and it's okay. So okay, next we can duplicate these two parts here. To duplicate this part here, first let's select this part here and then this icon. To duplicate this part here, click here in this icon, and now drag this part in this way, and next select this part here and click here. Okay, and now let's assemble this part here in this. Okay, and now let's assemble this part in this box here. But first what you need to do is to rotate this part here. Select this part and then click on mouse and select transform tool, and now change this rotation in this way, and okay. And next zoom in and let's select this point here, and now this point, and now we place this constraint here, point to point, and accept here. Okay, so now as you can see we have this. And next let's select this part here, transform tool, and rotate this model 9 degrees. Okay, and okay, and now what you do, zoom in here and select this point here, press home and zoom in here and select this point here, and now this constraint again, and accept here. As you can see, now we have these parts. Okay, and now let's assemble this part here in this box. So first here what we can do is to, okay, let's hide this part here, spacebar, and then select this point here and rotate this all document. Now zoom in and select this point here and place this constraint here. Click here in this icon, accept, and press home. As you can see, now we have this part here assembled in this box. So let's make this part visible, spacebar, and now as you can see we have this assembly here. And the next thing to do is to simulate the assembly and disassembly of these all parts here. To do that, we'll use the exploded assembly workbench. So let's do that. First let's save this document, and now let's change to exploded assembly workbench. Select this workbench here. Okay, and now we have this, and also let's close this document here, parts, and save this document again. Let's start by this part here. Okay, to disassemble this part here, we need to first select this face here, which will be the duration of this assembly, and then we select this icon here to create a simple group. Click here in this icon, and as you can see here in this object we have the simple group. If we select the simple group here, we can see these properties here. We can change animation steps, distance, and revolutions. So as you can see, when I click in this icon here, the placement of this part here changed. As you can see, this is the distance. Can change this distance here to, for example, 50 or 20. Okay, and if you want to play this disassembly, we can use these icons here. This first icon to assembly, and this icon here to play backward, this icon here to pause, and this icon here to play forward, and this icon here to disassemble the parts, and this icon here to explode to the selected part. Okay, so for example, let's run this animation. Click in this. First, let's click here to assembly, and then in this icon here, and as you can see, these icons runs the animation. Okay, and now let's see how works the properties of this simple group here. Okay, if we go to animation steps and change here to, for example, 100, and let's assemble these, and now click here. Okay, as you can see, this part here now it's open slowly. Okay, so if we change the animation steps to 20, and now let's run this again. Okay, you can see that these animation steps here is the speed of the disassembly or assembly. Okay, so okay, let's add 100 here for the animation steps. Okay, and now let's suppose that we want this part here to go in this direction. So what you need to do is to select this face here. This face here will be the duration of the disassembly, and then we select this tool here again, and let's go to the simple group now, and for example, let's change the distance here to 100. Enter. And okay, now let's run this assembly, and now this assembly. Okay, let's change the speed of this simple group here. Let's add 100 here. Okay, and now let's run again. Click here. Okay, and now let's disassemble this part here. So we'll select this face here, and then create a simple group, and now select the simple group here. Let's set a distance of 100, okay, or 120. Okay, and now we change the animation steps here to 100. Okay, and after this part here, we'll disassemble this part here. So what you need to do is to select this face here, and this part here will go in this direction. So create a simple group, scroll down here, select simple group. Let's change the distance here to 100. Okay, and the animation steps to 100. And now let's run this assembly and this assembly. Okay, and after this part here, when this, okay, we can disassemble this part here. Rotate this document, select this face here, and then click in this icon, create a simple group. Scroll down and we go to the last simple group. Let's change here to 70 and here to 100. Okay, and now after this part here, let's disassemble this part here. So okay, here we select this face and then simple group. Okay, and the distance for this simple group here we can set 30. Okay, it's okay, and then mission steps 100. Okay, and now let's run this assembly and disassembly. Click here on this icon, and now we are running this animation, and click here. Okay, and now let's see what we can do with these tools here. For example, let's assemble these all, and let's select, for example, the simple group tree here. Select this group and then this icon. Okay, and as you can see, this icon exploded these all parts to this part here. Okay, and now let's select this, for example, this part here, this simple group, and let's click on this icon. Now this group here and this icon, and if you want to hide these vectors here, these lines, you can click on this icon. Okay, and now let's run this again. Okay viewers, this is all for this video. Thank you for watching this video. If you found this video useful, please leave a like, a comment, and share this video with your friends. And also, if you want to support the channel, there's a link in the description of this video to my Ko-fi page. Thank you, and I hope to see you in the next video.